to open up around noon, about an hour from now, but boy, just prolific snowfall there. And we still have it here. The lake effect warning in place until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Cleveland getting a band up toward Ashtabula right now. And then certainly some of the south towns here in Buffalo also getting some more coming in off Lake Ontario. Now, it's not going to be the same amount of snow by any means that we've gotten over the last 48 hours here across the Great Lakes. Nonetheless, still going to pile up a little bit more, and travel is going to be really tough too if you're traveling here along 90 or maybe heading back towards Grand Rapids. Some light snow bands actually coming in as well, even as we get into Michigan. So keep that in mind. While it's not going to be as impressive, it's still going to start to add to those very impressive totals. Chicago not getting anything, but portions of Michigan actually getting a little bit there, as well as Buffalo, as I mentioned. So we'll put this into motion and show you what we can expect here over the next couple of days. And it looks like we won't really get all that much of a break. We'll have a few rounds of the lake effect coming through, at least through the end of the week. This is Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. You still see a little bit out there as well. Again, not going to be the big blockbuster snows, but some lake effect, and that could slow you down in terms of New Year's travel. Minneapolis, taking a look at you. Cold as well. Wednesday night down to -3, -12 on Thursday. Here in the southeast today, not looking too bad. Could see some delays in and out of New Orleans and Atlanta due to some rain moving through that area. Careful on I-10 as well if you're heading out to the roads. Tomorrow looking good. We've got the green light at most of the airports here. New Orleans, maybe still some moderate delays for you if you are traveling in or out. And then as we get into Friday, looking really good here across the south. No delays expected due to weather. That would just be volume. And then taking a look at Saturday, yeah, looks good as well. So if your New Year's Eve plans include coming to the south, not going to be a problem really weather-wise at this point heading into the weekend and into the new year, right?
Right, crews are getting
that frigid air. And speaking of frigid, get used to it. We are going to be dealing with frigid cold temperatures across much of the U.S. for at least the remainder of this week into next week. Take a look here at some of these temperatures today. 5, that's your forecast high in Minneapolis, -7 in International Falls, 10 in Chicago. We've got 8 in Omaha. Mind you, high temperatures here, so feeling well below 0 in all of these places. And then tomorrow, we get just a little bump. Our Arctic high shifts just a little bit to the east, but really not going to be any big time improvements for you here. Still really feeling the chill on Friday as well, with just 2 degrees here in the Twin Cities and -3 there in our nation's icebox, Ray. Some showers in the Atlanta metro kind of moving off to the east here, and certainly along the coastal areas of Georgia and South Carolina up through Charleston, Savannah, all getting a little bit of rain, that chilly rain this morning. And even in Raleigh, parts of the area, some of the higher elevations picked up a little bit of a sleet snow mix here. That pushing off now to the east as well. So east of the area, certainly heading out to sea as we speak. So mostly just a cold rain here on this Wednesday here. And looking at our future radar, we're looking at most of this pushing off actually as we get throughout the day today. So not really going to be a big problem in the Carolinas here as we'll start to dry things out throughout the day today. Still a little rain moving in through northern Florida, but that's about it, right? One part of the winter story, the other, the crazy models right now who are not in agreement.
Yeah, we're still seeing really significant differences. And so we'll begin with a look at the European model. The depiction here is colder air aloft and then moisture. And obviously where those things get together, that's where we're going to have wintry weather. So first of all, going into later part of this week into Saturday, here we see a little moisture being driven up into some colder air there in the northeast, so some northeast snow as the European model sees. It's not quite as bullish on it, but it does show snow coming up on Saturday. Then we go into Sunday, and you notice here that there's a pretty big separation between the cold and the moisture as the European model sees it. Not a lot of moisture across the southeast. It's pretty dry, basically. So it's not showing a whole lot in the south. Then beyond that, gets very interesting into next week. Here we do see moisture and cold getting together across the south on Wednesday, and then into Thursday, 1-4. Look at that notch.
Oh boy.
Right there. I mean, that, if it were to come to pass, would be a really big deal.
Yes.
For the Northeast.
A big storm.
Yes.
So we've got the Euro with this, and then the GFS, the American model. not really showing any of it.
Really different, very, very different. So we'll go through the same sequence, same exact projection. We'll go into Saturday. So here's the storm that the GFS is talking about that just rapidly comes through the Northeast and is well offshore, with a much faster flow here.
Yeah, so
it's
no or little impacts at all to the Northeast.
Nothing in the Northeast, exactly right. And then we take it into Sunday and we look at the moisture. Look how much more moisture is available there across the Southeast and a lot closer to the cold air. So the GFS actually does lay down this stripe of 1 to 3 inches across a good part of the Southeast. That's on Sunday going into Monday.
And that could be a mix of snow and possibly ice as
It could be. It looks like it would be mostly snow, but there certainly could be some transition in there. And then the GFS does have a storm for the Northeast a day later. Again, great big notch showing up there in the Northeast come Friday 1/5. So that's going to be a really interesting one to watch. Right now, though, we've got our eyes on this feature, which is in the Gulf of Alaska. It's a long way away, and depending on how that evolves, we'll either get not very much snow in the Southeast, or if the GFS has its way, maybe a pretty good swath there.
So stay tuned, right? We're going to let you know.